I want you guys to know I'm making changes to how I present my universe mode for a number of reasons. So basically, how I'm changing it is I'm going from this like cinematic experience to where I do all the voiceovers, I do all the promos, all of that, even all the commentary. We're going to change that up just a tad. It's going to look a little different. It's going to look a little less cinematic, but more of like we're playing universe mode. But don't worry, I'm not abandoning the cinematics completely. So here's what I'm thinking. So instead of every show being like this, I am here with the world heavyweight champion, Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret, I think we'd all like to know, what's next for the world heavyweight champion? Well, Kelly, I'm glad you asked. You see, so, oh my God, what the? Shawn Michaels! Oh, no. What? Shawn Michaels just sweet chin music. Here's another angle. Bret Hart. Oh my goodness. Don't worry. Hold on to your panties. Or your balls if you don't wear any. I'm not going to abandon that 100%. You know? I'm going to do that every now and then when we need to push a storyline or something like that. But what we're going to do basically is me and my fiance, which I'm bringing on board, she's going to take over one of the brands. We have combined our love of universe mode and our love for GM mode. So basically, we've taken out the budgeting part, but we're still going to have the text messages, and I'll show you and I'll tell you how that works here in a little bit. Just like in GM mode, we have brand split matches on the pay-per-view. We've taken the brand split matches that they've implemented, which I love and we love, where you go one brand versus the other. We've taken that, and we do have the brand split matches on the opener and the main event. And each PLE, with the exception of the four major ones, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, the Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania, those have 8. Every pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever, you know, however old you are, will have 6 match cards. Every regular show, Raw and SmackDown, will have 5 match cards. The rules, obviously, on the PLE, this is obvious, but even on the shows, you have to fill, just like on GM mode, all 5 match cards. Whether that be a promo, because you can fill the match cards with promos in this game, or a match, or a cutscene that is not really a match, or it interrupts a match, or it calls off a match. There's a couple of them that do that. Doesn't matter, but you have to fill the match cards. You can't delete a match card. You have to complete all 5 on every show. Every PLE, you have 6 match cards. The brand split, and then you got 4 match cards, 2 for each brand to hash out their biggest rivalries. And then the main event, brand split. Now, speaking of rivalries, because this game is jank, we are not using the rivalry system. Instead, we are using news to keep track of our rivalries. That being said, if we have a rivalry that we want to track that we're not 100% sure we're going to be able to remember, we put a rival action, whether it be as simple as a handshake, or not shaking hands, or as big as coming in and beating the hell out of everybody in the ring. You do a rival action, or a promo. You do a rival action. That way it gets saved in the news. But yeah, don't use the rivalry system. It messes up the cutscenes. So that's why we don't use the rivalry systems. It makes the cutscenes limited. We use free mode. That way, you know, we have some control. You know what I mean? And speaking of control, the reason we are doing this is because it's basically, I had full control over universe mode, right? I made the scenes. I planned the storylines, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of exhausting. You know, it takes a lot of time. I play other things on this channel. I want to do UFC universe mode too. That's something I created where pretty much here I let the CPU fight it out. I do the same thing with UFC, and I haven't been able to do this because WWE takes up so much time planning the storylines, and which we're still gonna do. Like I said, we're not completely abandoning the old universe way. You guys will see that in the future. But yeah, basically what we're doing is we're actually gonna let the game take some control too, because we're actually gonna play universe mode as intended, you know. Most of the time in the old cinematic stuff, I wasn't even in universe mode. I was in the play area, the play mode, you know, because it was just easier that way. But anyway, back to it. Brand split matches. Now, the rules I have come up with are as follows. Whoever, I'm going to read it word for word. After every PLE, now me and my fiance has come up with this and we're having a great time. This is how we've combined GM mode and universe mode, and that's what we're going to showcase from now on this channel in this playlist. Now, here are the rules. This is straight off my phone, written down in stone. We're still coming up with little minor rules and tweaks as we go. After every PLE, each brand gets a double dice roll. That number determines how many techs. So that's where we're bringing the text from GM mode over here, because I love the text feature. People texting, hey, I'm not happy. Hey, give me a championship match. Hey, I don't like this tag partner anymore. Get them the fuck away from me. You know, like, so this is how we've integrated this. The text. After the double dice roll, that number will determine how many techs the GM gets from a random superstar's name generated. You roll the dice, whatever you get, that's how many people text you. How we determine who texts is we use the classic wheel of names. Now, however many numbers you get, you will roll. Now you spin. Now I put all the names, female and male, on here. What we do is we click shuffle 3 times and then we spin, and then you do this however number of times you've rolled on that dice until you get that desired number up here. This determines what they want. This is the fun part. This is what I had to, I've spent about a week actually trying to come up, not a week, a few days trying to come up with this part. Now that's where this last line comes in right here. Double dice roll for outcomes. Outcomes below. Dice rolls. If you roll a snake eyes, Liv Morgan, for example, because that's who we spun, says right here, she receives a better offer. That superstar and associated tag team, if she is a part of a tag team, they are included, quits and goes immediately to the other brand. If you roll a 3 to 5 on the dice, they're injured. Then you roll one die to determine how many weeks they're injured. If you roll a 5 or a 6 and they are a champion, they are injured for 5 to 6 weeks, they must vacate their championship. Now, if you roll a 6 to an 8, they're happy, but they want to be on the show in the next 5 weeks. Roll one die to determine what show. 1 to 4, they want to be on week 1 to 4, self-explanatory. If you roll a 5, they want to be on the PLE, and that means they want a title shot. We'll get to those later and how that works. If you roll a 6, you re-roll 9 through 11. If you get a 9, 10, or 11, that means they quit. That superstar and associated tag team goes into free agency and cannot be re-signed by the same brand until after the next PLE. So basically that whole month, let's say, okay, so this is real. The first month we were playing on the first month on the calendar on Universe Mode, we were playing this. After the first PLE we did, Undertaker quit off my fiance's show. And so what that means is for the whole next month until after the next pay-per-view, you can't re-sign Undertaker if you have blank contracts. and we will explain that later. Blank contracts. Box cars, which is double sixes if you didn't know. That means that superstar, Liv Morgan in this case, wants a title shot. You roll 2 dice. Well, for the women's, we only have one women's championship. We don't have the United States Intercontinental or the tag team because we have massive rosters. So we really only have one women's championship for each show. And then we have the regular championships for the other 2 shows. Which actually, thinking about that now, I'm thinking about getting rid of one tag team and having it how I do my current universe mode, to where the tag champs can alternate between shows. Right now we have our own tag champions with how we do it for fun, but I'm thinking I'm gonna actually integrate how I do my universe mode on this channel right now and have only one tag champ, but they can bounce between shows. Little side note. But anyway, box cars, title shot. Roll 2 dice to determine what title. This is obviously if it's the men's, because if we rolled Liv Morgan, there's only one title for her to go after. So let's say if we rolled somebody else, we roll 2 dice. If we get odds, they're going after the men's title. If you rolled evens, they're going to go after that show's world title. And if you roll doubles, they're going after the tag titles. Now that's where this is where we're integrating GM mode. You know how sometimes you get those texts in GM modes that say, hey, I want to partner with this person. This simulates that. If you roll doubles, if they're already a part of a tag team, fine. That tag team will go after the tag titles. But if it's a single competitor, like, for example, like Rob Van Dam, right? After you roll doubles, you will then spin the wheel again to determine what partner that they are simulating picking. Like, hey, I want to partner with this person. Kind of like GM mode. So, that's how that works. That's how the texts work after the PLE. To recap, you get a double dice roll. That number determines how many texts you get. How many texts you get. You spin the wheel of names to determine who is texting you. And after that, RIP. I saw him live in a steel cage match with Triple H when I was like 13. Thank you, Dad. RIP MAGA. So that explains the text messages. And this is a picture of my fiance's notes. She is, yes, this is her. She's fucking hilarious. Just take a second to read these. This is like her notes from just us playing for fun. And this is not over the course of very long. This is actually after one PLE. Because how we actually do it, after one PLE, we erase the notes, because then none of that matters. You can re-sign the people that quit. By then, you already know who jumped ship. You already know who's injured. You know, the only thing you really need to, like, keep on is the injuries. That's really... because if they want to be on week 4... or week 3 or the PLE, that's already done. You can erase that. The only things you really don't need to erase is like the injuries. If it's like 5 or 6 weeks, even after week 1 to 4, they're fine. So you can erase that. So we erased the notes. So funny thing enough, this is after one PLE. She rolled like a 10. I think that's how many people here. Yeah, 10. And 10 people text her, and it didn't really go very well for her, as you can see. She had some problems. But anyway. Now, after all that is done, after all the text messages are done, then we transition into, after text, GMs will get the chance to sign free superstars with blank contracts. Obviously, like I said, exempting the ones that have quit today. Like if you just got a text from Umaga and said, peace, I'm out, I'm going into free agency, you can't just say, oh, I have 2 blank contracts, I'm going to re-sign Umaga. No. You can't do that. Depending on who won the PLE. Now, how that works is, when I say depending on who won the PLE, you get blank contracts for winning the brand split matches. All right? That brand will receive 1 to 2 blank contracts to potentially sign superstars depending on double dice roll. So basically, if you have open, if you have, and blank contracts do carry over, so if you don't use them, they don't go away. You can stack them if you want, but here's where that comes in. We burned 4 blank contracts the other night playing for fun because we tried to sign The Rock. And we, as you can see right here, odds. no contract. That means they're not interested. Your offer is too low. They don't like how you smell. They don't like how you run the show. Use your imagination. They don't want to fucking sign with you. They're over it. Evens contract. That means you can sign them. So Andrea lost all these people, right? And then after, she tried to sign The Rock because he was a free agent. He didn't get drafted in our draft. So he was in free agency, you know? This motherfucker, we rolled odds 4 times. She had 3 blank contracts. I had 1. We burned all of them trying to sign this roided out Samoan. And he said no to all of it. We rolled odds all 4 times. So The Rock is too busy filming movies to come back to wrestling, even in the game. What a fucking turd. So that's how that works. There is rules for the draft and everything, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So we'll go over the draft rules once we get to the draft. It's after WrestleMania, the month after WrestleMania. But yeah, just to top it all off, I don't mean to overwhelm you guys, but we're switching it up. We're combining our love for GM mode, our love for universe mode, my love for creating content, and honestly my love for spending time with my fiance. We both enjoy WWE, as you can tell by these notes. We both enjoy UFC. We both enjoy gaming and spending time together. And so she's gonna come on. She's gonna take over the roster for my current, not the one we're playing for fun, but the current roster and storylines that I have right now, like with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, Kurt Angle, Jey Uso, Abyss, to name a few. We are continuing that, but she's taking over one brand, whichever brand she wants. I don't care. Adopting those superstars, those storylines, those championships, and we're basically just gonna change the landscape of how I do this. And I'm gonna really, to be honest with you guys, I'm gonna enjoy filming it more. I'm gonna enjoy spending time with her more. I'm gonna enjoy, honestly, letting the game kind of just take control sometimes to just surprise us even. You know I do a decent job, I would hope, surprising you guys with different stuff like the Sweet Chin music you guys saw earlier in this video. Abyss returning to beat the hell out of Jay. If you're tracking the universe mode, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, I want to be surprised sometimes too. I want to play universe mode. I want to see, you know, more of the cutscenes, because I don't showcase a lot of the cutscenes because I do my own stuff. But this is kind of a way we're going to combine both. And like I said, when the story needs it, every now and then I will do my own promos and voiceovers and backstage brawls and interviews. Like you see, I'm not completely abandoning the cinematic way. It's just going to be combined with GM mode and universe mode. And we're just going to see how this works out. We're experimenting. Ayo. Not that way. And we're going to see, we're going to see how it goes. And I want feedback from you guys. If you don't like it, tell me. Let me know. If you guys like how, give me feedback. If you don't like the new way, if you like the new way, please let me know. Time will tell. And I can't wait to start filming the next video with my fiance. She don't even know I'm making this video. She thinks I'm filming my old universe mode right now. I told her we can maybe start to transition into doing that once I complete this up to WrestleMania with this type of cinematic style. She doesn't even know I'm switching it all up right now. She's gonna adopt the show, the roster of my current landscape that you guys know. So this video is going to be a pleasant surprise to her too, and I'm excited for the new film style, for the new story, for the new stories that will develop in this play style. And also, this is what I told Andrea, and it actually happened a lot quicker, as you can see from her notes, than I even anticipated. The longer we play, the more interesting it's going to get, because we've taken the full year schedule of universe mode, because GM mode's only 25 weeks. They only take the meat and potatoes of the year and put it in GM mode. We're doing the full calendar year, But we've also integrated the text messages, the people quitting, the contracts, them not being happy, the injuries also into effect. And so I think it's going to be wonderful. The longer you play, the more people that quit, the more blank contracts, you know, you stack up. It's just burning through. You have months where you burn through contracts. You got months where you can get back people that maybe have quit last month. For, as you saw, the APA, she lost her tag champion. If you notice at the bottom, tag titles are vacant. The APA was her tag champions. They just retained the first pay-per-view that we did. And she rolled a fucking snake eyes. She spun the wheel. It landed on JBL. And she rolled a snake eyes and lost her tag champs. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I just want to welcome you guys to my new universe mode. I can't wait for the first episode. It's going to be the go home show to SmackDown. We still on the road to SummerSlam. We still got the same matches. She's just going to adopt one show, and we're going to do this a tad differently. But we're not abandoning the cinematics completely. Like I said, like with the Sean and Brett stuff in the beginning, you're still going to get that every now and then. But thank you guys for watching. I'm excited to produce these videos with my fiance. Peace.